Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we dig into the sources you share, pulling out the key insights, the real nuggets of knowledge. Today, we're doing a deep dive into someone truly extraordinary, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I mean, here's a global icon who didn't just play cricket, he fundamentally changed it. His story is just incredible, coming from really unassuming beginnings to become an absolute legend. So our mission today, using Mahendra Singh Dhoni, cricket's calm revolutionary, as our main guide, is to figure out how this small-town boy from Ranchi became such a phenomenon. How did he earn that famous nickname, Captain Cool?
Exactly. And we're going to really unpack that unique mix he had. You know, the raw talent, sure, but also that incredible temperament and sheer tenacity. There's some real aha moments in his journey, things that make his story compelling, not just for cricket fans, but honestly relevant for anyone dealing with pressure and aiming high.
Okay, let's get into it then. His roots. They're incredibly humble, aren't they? Coming from Ranchi, I mean, that's far from the usual cricket powerhouses like Mumbai or Delhi. And the source mentions before cricket really took off for him, he was working as a ticket collector at Kharagpur railway station. That kind of start just makes his later success feel even more inspiring, doesn't it?
It really does. And that contrast is fascinating, Round. His background versus the, let's say, typical path for pro cricketers, it really underlines this unique resilience he had. You almost wonder if that everyday life, managing those sorts of pressures, actually forged his commonness later on.
That's an interesting thought.
His debut for India back in 2004 was pretty quiet. Actually, he got run out for a duck.
Oh, wow. First ball.
Yep, dismissed without scoring. A tough start for anyone.
Definitely.
But then just months later, boom, he explodes onto the scene, a massive 148 against Pakistan. And then almost immediately after, this blistering 183 not out against Sri Lanka.
Huge scores.
Yeah, but there were more than just runs, you know? They were like declarations. India had found this fearless finisher, someone who could win games right at the end under intense pressure.
And that tenacity, that finishing ability, it wasn't just for his own batting. It clearly shaped his leadership style, too, which brings us to his impact as captain, starting with that 2007 T20 World Cup, right?
Absolutely. The inaugural one.
Yeah, and T20, for anyone less familiar, it's the super fast, high-octane version of cricket.
Yeah.
So here he is, a young guy just made captain, leading another young team.
Yeah.
And honestly, expectations were pretty low.
Mm-hmm. And maybe those low expectations actually helped. It set the stage for something, well, revolutionary. So the big question is, what defined his leadership back then? What led to that unexpected win?
Good question.
The source points to a few things. Obviously, his legendary calm under pressure, we all know about that. But also his unconventional tactics, they were already showing up. And his deep trust in the younger players.
Right.
Like that famous example in the final, choosing Joginder Sharma, who's pretty inexperienced, to bowl the last over someone much more seasoned.
That was a massive call, wasn't it? Such high stakes.
Huge. And it really demonstrated his unique approach to risk, his gut feeling.
Does the source mention if there was, like, pushback or debate about that decision within the team? Or was his authority already that strong?
You know, it doesn't really detail any internal pushback, which in itself kind of tells you something.
Yeah, true.
It suggests his conviction, maybe his aura, meant people trusted his calls, even the really out there ones. A listening conviction, maybe.
Definitely. And winning that T20 wasn't the end. It was just the start, which leads us straight to the 2011 World Cup.
Bigger stage, even more pressure.
Exactly. This was the big one, the 50-over World Cup.
Yeah.
And India hadn't won it since way back in 1983. The weight of expectation was just immense. So in the final, they're chasing Sri Lanka's score, 274, a challenging total. And there's this pivotal moment. Dhoni, who hadn't really batted high up the order in the tournament, suddenly promotes himself, comes in at number 5.
Ahead of the informed player Yuvraj Singh.
Right. And the source says he did it because, quote, he wanted to take responsibility.
Classic Dhoni.
Totally. And then what follows, it's iconic. His unbeaten 91.
Oh.
And that final shot.
Yeah.
A massive 6 straight back over the bowler's head over long on to win the World Cup.
Dhoni finishes off in style.
Exactly. That call still gives you goosebumps. A moment of just pure national euphoria.
And promoting himself like that in that final, it just perfectly summed up his leadership style, didn't it?
It really did.
It wasn't about ego. It was about stepping up when the pressure was absolutely peaking, taking it on himself. And then just to add to it, he leads India to win the 2013 Champions Trophy in England.
Another major trophy.
Which meant he became the only captain in history to win all 3 big ICC white ball trophies. T20 World Cup, the ODI World Cup, and the Champions Trophy.
Yeah.
Well, it's an unmatched achievement. Speaks volumes about sustained brilliance.
So beyond the silverware, what really made Dhoni, well, Dhoni, the source keeps coming back to his temperament, that unbelievable calm in chaos, never visibly angry, never panicked,
Rock solid.
and his mastery of run chases, over 50 successful chases in ODIs alone. That's incredible consistency under pressure.
It really is.
But thinking about those unconventional tactics, they often worked, but they must have been risky. Does the source talk about times they didn't work or the potential cost of those gambles?
That's a fair point. The source emphasizes that his unwavering self-belief was sort of crucial for those moves to even happen. It acknowledges the risks, sure, but it frames his genius as his ability to absorb that pressure, to back himself, rather than getting bogged down by what could go wrong.
Okay, makes sense.
And it wasn't just about his performance or even just his captaincy decisions. Something the source really highlights is his role in building a team that could eventually thrive without him.
The legacy aspect.
Exactly. He had this incredible knack for spotting and nurturing young talent. Think about players like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Jadeja, Ashwin.
All future legends in their own right.
And he guided them, mentored them, and then, importantly, he passed on the baton gracefully. Never seemed to cling to power or the limelight.
Which is pretty rare, especially in that high-profile environment.
Very rare. What does that tell you about his understanding of leadership?
I think it shows incredible security. Like he knew his impact. He didn't need to constantly prove it.
Yeah.
Prioritizing the team's future over his own immediate status. That's selfless. And then there's his wicket-keeping. We can't forget that. He revolutionized it. For listeners, the wicket-keeper is like the catcher in baseball, behind the batsman. And Dhoni. The source calls him the fastest hands in the game. Stumpings in milliseconds, getting batsmen out super quickly if they step out of their crease.
Lightning quick.
And runouts from impossible angles, throwing down the stumps from way out. It even mentions he often seemed to anticipate shots before the batsman moved. Like he knew where the ball was going.
And that anticipation, plus the speed, it completely redefined what a wicketkeeper could be. He wasn't just stopping balls. He was a captain behind the stumps, a strategist, advising bowlers, setting fields, and a match winner with the bat.
Yeah, he turned a defensive position into a really dynamic, tactical one.
Absolutely.
So all this adds up to Dhoni the man, right? Beyond the stats and trophies. The source paints a picture of a very distinctive personality. You know, no tattoos, no media dramas, no controversies.
Pretty low-key considering his fame.
Very. Simple interests. Just cricket, bikes, and the Indian Army. Described as a man of few words and many actions.
And that quiet, grounded nature. It perfectly explains how he retired from international cricket.
Oh yeah, that was something else.
No big press conference, no farewell tour.
Which you'd expect for a legend of his stature.
Right. Instead, just a simple Instagram post. With that specific song playing Main Pal Du Pal Ka Shair Hoon, I am a poet of a moment or two.
Wow.
A quiet, almost poetic exit. It perfectly reflected how he'd always operated humble, grounded, dignified, didn't need the fanfare.
A powerful statement in itself. And even after leaving the international stage, his story keeps going. He's still incredibly relevant, leading Chennai Super Kings, CSK, in the IPL, the huge Indian Premier League.
Still a massive draw.
Absolutely. And get this, he led CSK to their 5th IPL title in 2023. He was over 40, playing with a knee injury, equaling the record.
Just remarkable longevity and impact.
And the fan devotion. It's unreal. Stadiums packed, people chanting his name, Thala, they call him in Chennai, meaning leader. Crowds turning up, as the source puts it, just to see Thala Dhoni, perhaps for the last time. That kind of love.
Yeah.
It has to be earned over years.
It really does. And staying that relevant, that loved for 2 decades. In modern sport, with that level of scrutiny, it's extraordinary. He's a perfect example of someone who didn't chase fame. Fame found him because of what he did. He wasn't following trends. He became the trend in many ways. Authenticity personified, maybe?
So, summing it all up, Dhoni's legacy, it feels profound. He's not just a cricketer, he's a mindset. That's a great line from the source.
He really is.
He's become this symbol of calmness in chaos, a leader who famously walked behind his team in victory and stood in front during defeat.
Taking responsibility.
Exactly. And ultimately, he remained that small-town boy who became a global icon without ever losing his roots.
And the core lesson he taught millions, I think, wasn't just about cricket. It was about how to be. You know, to be calm, focused, and to let success make the noise.
Let success make the noise. I like that.
Yeah. His greatness wasn't about being loud or flashy. It was about consistently delivering when it mattered the absolute most.
So it leaves us with a thought, doesn't it,
Hmm.
for everyone listening? Thinking about Dhoni's unique way of handling pressure, leading with composure, what parts of your own life could maybe use a bit more of that Captain Cool approach? How could you apply that idea, letting your success make the noise, focusing on delivery rather than seeking the spotlight? Something to maybe mull over, definitely something to think about.
Hmm.
We'll leave it there for this deep dive.